Cross ExAnime, episode 76. Y'all like dead babies?
God. I guess we're starting out hot. Police in a pod, everybody. That's part of the A-list. The A-list.
A-list. Yeah.
Oh, God. I love how okay, this is the build-up to episode 10, right? Because we watched 10, 11, 12.
Mm-hmm.
There was 13 episodes. We got one more episode, right? Matt, you watched a new episode? No, not yet. Hey, Matt, you should watch a new episode. No, I haven't watched it yet because I'm in the middle of watching Life Within Total Fantasy Knockout. Just like, you should watch that next. You should quit that and watch that right now. So I finished my episode, right? Go to episode 10. And episode 10 started out. What was the beginning of episode 10 again? Listen, the second half of episode 10 completely wiped away what happened in the first.
Yamada lost his
that's right. Yamada
ID.
lost his police ID. And then the crazy woman that always calls because she wants to talk with Miyamoto.
Mm.
She's actually warmed up to Yamada, too. Like, before she hated him. And now she's like, well, where's Yamada? It would have been bad if this would have gotten out. I'm like, I guess the lady's not as bad anymore. She just wants someone to talk to. Mm-hmm. And then you're like, nice, relaxing episode. You get into the second half. There's a car accident. Kawaii is walking over like, it doesn't seem that bad. Everyone's okay. Fuji running out from the corner of the screen. Look out. Don't step on that. And then it's like, what was under the blanket? We saw a baby was thrown from the car in the car accident and then run over and mangled beyond belief. And I was like, what the fuck is going on? That's the second half of episode 10. You come back from a commercial break to, baby got run over. It's like, what?
Baby got ejected through a windshield of a car.
Oh. So then Kawaii's going like that whole episode being like, because Kawaii has already seen some things, like when the old man died, she kind of had like a hard time processing that. Imagine seeing like a mangled baby, especially in like a not like Japan's not as violent as America is. Like, we didn't grow up in the best of neighborhoods. So it's like, I'm not saying, we grew up in like fucking downtown Chicago, but there's like, if we were to see that, be like, oh man, it's pretty fucked up. But to her, it's like someone that's never really seen death, someone that's never really dealt with any of that stuff. It's like, oh yeah, there's a mangled baby on the side of the road now. And that messed her up. But then, I guess earlier in the episode, you do run into traffic cop dude. Because that's where it kind of comes around to, because why he's talking shit about traffic cop on there. And do you remember his name?
I don't. List. It's not on the list. He's like a sergeant something. Yeah,
sergeant something, which I'll be honest, he's pretty fucking cool. But he gives like some of the best advice. He's like, listen, if you can't handle that, just quit now. Like, even traffic cops, like, I see quite a few of these a year, and you just got to deal with it. But we deal with it so other people don't have to deal with it, so you can make like a better society. And then Kawaii gets a little bit better on there after being like depressed.
Yeah, because even like, he basically said, which it makes sense, where he's, it's like, you're anguishing over this, like, quit. Fuji's like, oh yeah, stop joking around. And he's like, it's not a joke. We're the insane ones here. She's sane because she's seen something that is very fucked up and like recognizes that it's fucked up, and we've gone about our day. And it's like, it's a cool guy.
Yeah, cool guy. Turns her around on there, and luckily that gets better. So then you go into the next, but like, oh, please just let it be mellow, relaxed. So this girl basically got raped in an alleyway. It's like, what the fuck is going on with police in a pod?
Well, like, I mean, that was even a build-up from a couple episodes ago. So this is the continuation of that, of the chick that showed up, the schoolgirl that showed up a couple episodes back.
That's fresh.
Huh?
There was you're thinking of the other schoolgirl. This is a new schoolgirl for episode 11 and 12.
So this is a continuation of a case that we've seen momentarily episodes before.
Have we? I think that's the first time, because there was another schoolgirl that was like molested. Well, first it started with she was probably molested, but then it comes down, I think in episode 12, Miyamoto's like, how far did you walk? And the kid that came to report it was like, I walked like down to this shop. And Miyamoto has that very police officer thing of that's 50 meters away, and walking at just a regular pace. A lot can happen in that time before he walks there, thinks in his head, should I go back? Then goes back. It's like, And then Maki, which is obviously the best girl of this series. I switched from I was pro Fuji, now I'm pro Maki. And Maki didn't do a good police report at first. So they're having trouble getting a hold of her. Trouble with the report because Maki didn't want to like stress the victim of what just happened, which I could see that. Someone that doesn't deal with it daily, just, I'll ask 1 or 2 questions. I'll let them go because, I don't want them to feel worse than they do. But then Miyamoto has a thing of like, we have to do it. It sucks for like the couple hours you have to interrogate them, but it gets them caught faster and they don't have to deal with it again. Now she has to deal with it multiple times.
Yeah, when the person that had stopped the crime from like going any further, you're not supposed to say victim subject, because then you're like painting them as a victim. You don't want them to be a victim.
You picked that up from Miyamoto?
No, that was security training.
Victim.
Yeah. Okay. So
was that baby the subject?
The subject would say, in her case, she said that she was helped immediately. And when the guy was like, oh, I saw it, walked by, and then I just like did a little bit of Googling, 50 meters away and then back. 50 meters is like 164 feet. So between going there and back, that's like 328.
At a slow pace, and he stopped to think about it too. So that a lot can happen in like
and a typical like block is about 300 to 325 feet. So total distance would have been a block walked. So yeah, a lot happens in that time.
Yeah, because initially in episode 11 they start with she was just assaulted. He probably got under her bra. Then Miyamoto comes with the idea of like she was probably raped because she was beat up a lot more than just like a typical assault victim. Like he got under the bra. He probably like did stuff that she's not happy about. Luckily, Maki is here to the rescue because she actually gets in touch with the mother and is like, we need to talk now because we need to stop this guy.
Yeah.
And that's kind of where the episode leaves off. You do have a moment with Yamada kind of being depressed of like, I always have to play like the bad guy and I hate doing this. And he breaks the tension between Fuji and Miyamoto because they're fighting. He's like, yo, I need to sew this bra. I don't know. They haven't got anything to sew this bra. It's like, first of all, why the fuck do you have the bra? I'm very confused because I don't know if Sergeant Fuji was wearing that bra because she said it was comfortable. And it's like the way she said we debated this the other night.
I think she was making a joke about him where it's like, oh, do you want to wear it? Like, is it that comfortable to him? Like,
I forgot they had a sleepover part of that episode.
Yeah. Maki reeked a weed.
Oh, that was a whole... We need you to draw something kawaii. Okay, well, Maki, I need you to sit in the corner so you don't smell like weed because everyone's like, why do you reek? Sorry, I was working with cannabis all day.
Yeah.
Oh, that was fucking hilarious. It's like, take a shower. There was no time. You must go in there and draw. And Lucky, like Maki drew a really good drawing. Kawaii drew like a pretty subpar drawing, but then Fuji's like, wait a minute, if I put a pen here, that looks like this guy. It's like, I guess at the end it worked. Even the people.
Well, I mean, even the thing that they pointed out with the original sketch, you may have been too busy posting links because you have a problem with doing that.
No, I mean there was more to it,
but like Maki's Kawaii's shit at drawing, but she's good at getting things across just enough that you could still recognize. And like she even pointed out where it's like everything else he could give distinguishing features, but the eyes were something that like he just kept focusing on, like no matter how many times, like bigger. So like she was good on like catching details, but
I was gonna say
the execution of it. I mean,
one of the better parts is when they were in the meeting, like a few scenes later. It's like, okay, we have a picture of the perp. Oh, this is terrible drawing. Hangs it up on the board like, oh shit, that's a spitting image of him. It's like,
whoever drew that is a genius. Shut up.
Oh, also like I just love Miyamoto's characters. Miyamoto, the best. But Maki, best girl.
You like all the characters.
No. Well, I especially love the special crime division because how Watkins like going into a fucking Yakuza meeting. They're all tough guys smoking their cigarettes, which still surprises me because like Japan, the pinnacle of like health, everyone's smoking cigarettes against each other. And then
everyone still smokes in Japan.
Yeah. But then you get to America, it's like you smoking an IHOP. Oh, you better get the fuck out of there.
Yeah.
It makes me feel old. I still remember the smoking section inside restaurants. Like you want smoking or non-smoking. Now it's just like. Nah.
Yeah, that Perkins there in Ankeny, they have the walled section.
Yeah,
that was totally the smoking area.
Yeah, because they had like the smoking area. Like, I don't know. That was just a me thing on there. Speaking
real quick before you make a shitty pun,
I wasn't gonna make a shitty pun.
Yeah, whatever.
To,
no, shut up. Yamada, after he lost his police ID, he was like, everything worked out okay, and then you hear Kawaii's note like. Narration or they're doing practice and the deputy chief's like again. It's like Yamada was thrown 100 times that day.
Yeah, people get thrown a lot. Speaking of people that get thrown a lot, Tachibana gets thrown a lot. Listen, so von Lichtenstein, Lagerheim, Schwartz. I just call him Discount Kirito because hang on, let me click on a picture so Justice can see. Oh, is there another picture of him? You see a sword in the background?
A little bit, yeah.
It is literally just Kirito's sword. Like, they even make a pun about it in the show. Like, that sword looks familiar on there. Are you like Kirito? Long story short, this episode, Tachibana and Jinguchi, which are the two male best friends in their world, but Tachibana got turned into a woman. He has a womanly name, so it worked out. It turns out there's this princess that's literally about to fucking off herself from a window. She's like, okay, since nobody's there, goodbye, cruel world. Tachibana grabs her like, don't do it. Princess is like, why can't I do it? And Tachibana has a moment of, I don't know why I can't tell her she couldn't do it. If she wants to, I guess she could. There's so much to live for. Like what? Just come down from there. Saves Princess Ukraine. I don't know how to actually pronounce her name on there. But the princess's headmaid is actually the girl from the demon army that we saw before that freed the other demon army girl. Their names aren't on this list because they are pretty minor characters. But then you get this whole idea of where is this show even going? Like, what is the plot of it? Turns out the princess, obviously her dad is the king, and the guy Shin that you met before is an agent for the king. This whole kingdom is all about, they worship the goddess of love and beauty. Mm-hmm. What do you imagine the king of God and beauty looks like? Like if you were to see
ugly
him,
as shit, just to be ironic.
No, what do you think he'd be wearing as a king of beauty?
Toga?
No, close. Just a towel. Literally, they walk into his chamber. He's just wearing a towel. Has like an 8-pack. Looks just like manly as shit. And he's like, welcome, heroes. We have finally found you. And Shin's like, yeah, I was bringing you here because I suspected you guys were actually the heroes, and you passed the test on there. And they're like, tell you what.
Is the show over?
I think there's one more episode. At least where they left off, it better not be over. I hope it's not 24 episodes. Let's see. 23 minutes per episode.
Just scroll up.
12. So we got one more episode on there. So let me ask you another question about the king. She's just wearing like a towel. How do you think he greets them like fully into the kingdom that he finds out they're the hero?
Does he take off the towel?
Towel kind of comes off, kind of stays on. No, he breaks into like a musical, literally breaks into a musical. He's like, my servant, bring me a lute. Hands him a lute. He's like, do, 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 la, 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 la. And just starts singing. And that is a solid 2 minutes in the show of him just singing about how much the hero should be praised. Then they have the debate of the hero. We will give you everything you need in order to do your mission. And Jinguchi, being the smart guy, is like, so what's the extent of like, give us anything we need? And the king's like, we could give him the entire budget. Sir, will that be enough? Let's give him the military budget. But we might need the military. This is more pressing right now. And it's like, they're about to give you the whole military budget. And you're like, nah, I don't need it. That's literally what he says. He's like, nah, I don't need it. But this leads into the funnier part, because the princess that was going to kill herself, because they have the banquet after all this, gets in touch with Tachibana. And they're like, you know what? I'm tired of living in this castle. I want some freedom. that's where it's going, which is why she's going to kill herself because she never has freedom. So what would a princess that want freedom do, Justice?
Well, like you said, kill herself.
Well,
the
besides
ultimate
that,
freedom.
well, what would she do next? You know, you got two heroes on a
fuck
journey.
her dad's friend.
What have you been watching, huh? No.
Don't worry about it. It's 1 a.m.
What happens if VR chat stays VR chat? No, usually you'd run away, right? Nah. Let's start a rebellion. Literally uses Tachibana's charm because her beauty can charm anyone on there to start a rebellion against her dad. That falls apart. So the two demon army generals that were in on a plot together to overthrow the king have a huge civil war where everyone dies and kill them, then take over the kingdom. Which I don't get the point of taking over a kingdom once you killed everyone. Doesn't really make sense to me. Then the rebellion fails because Discount Kirito comes out and is like, your sword can cut through anything, right? I don't want to kill them all. Think about not killing them. Just destroy their weapons. Destroys their weapons and their clothes and their memory of what happened the last 3 days, which is magical sword. And I was like, I guess that's a plot point in the series now. And then what do they do when they get freed from this spell of Tachibana? Hey, we're all naked. What should we do? Let's go home. Then they spend the next couple of days plowing fields at home naked because they don't remember what was happening. They're just going with the flow at this point. Listen, the goddess of love and beauty believes in everyone just straight up being naked, it seems like half the time. But this then leads into their whole plot being foiled. And they're like, there's a secret weapon below the kingdom. We can use it. Turns out it's just a giant, robot, bunny-looking robot that the goddess of beauty gave them as a weapon. They need 2 royal seals. They use the princess because she's in a depressed state. They can control her mind. Tachibana's had a spell put on her. They use her hand to stop it. Giant robot gets summoned. Start shooting giant laser beams at them. Like a laser beam that could destroy the whole city. First laser beam misses. Second laser beam almost hits till Von Lichtenstein Lagerem Schwartz pulls out his sword, cuts the beam. He's like, I don't know how to do that, but I did it because if I didn't, we would have died. And I guess that's how I'm going to do it. Second beam gets shot, stops that beam too. And then it's just like, you go into this fight of, listen, they can't fire another beam because I don't know where we're at. Even though their whole plan is to destroy the city. So I don't get why they just don't start destroying the city. And then Jinguchi confesses, I love you as a friend. Tachibana, you're the best. And that's kind of where the episode left off. All in all, I think on my anime list, the show has a 7.32, and I think it deserves a 7.5 because I can't describe the jokes well enough, but it's just hilarious how Tachibana and Jinguchi act together within the show on there. I just don't get it. Hey, you know what else acts pretty good together? The boys and the girl in World. I think that's a sound they made of World End Harem.
One of them did eventually.
Oh, yo, this show fucking sucks. I don't know how it has a 6.0. Fucking simps over here simping for little schoolgirls, and the show's over, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the show's officially over with 11 episodes? I think is what it was.
Real.
How would you end a show about harems and sex, Justice?
You finally get to meet the one girl that the main character.
You're right. You just rip something for your name and hope that it works, and it didn't fucking work in this situation.
I mean, there's a possibility they're setting up season 2. I mean, will they ever get it? Probably not.
Yeah,
but
the show fucking
always
sucks.
just have to keep the option. I guess it
depends on what the Blu-ray sells on there.
Yeah. Look, I'm gonna be honest. The show's fine. I gave it a 5.
I think that's what I gave it to. I think it's right in the middle. It's if you just want something to pass the time, that's kind of horny. Pretty horny.
The big thing is it's got titties, ooh, whatever. But
there's so much unnecessary nudity in this show.
Even if you take the nudity out of it, the story that they're trying to tell and the thing they're
it's kind of okay. Yeah.
It's just fine.
Yeah.
And my problem was there were those moments where they were kind of getting to something interesting a little bit. You have the women's government that UW, which is basically created the
I gotta
virus
say
and is
something.
totally like on the side of like just destroy all men, make a technology enough for women can reproduce on their own, and they'll just be a society of women.
I mean, that technically already exists.
No, not there. The
Well,
technology,
not there, but
yeah, the technology's like not done yet in the show.
listen, if they have this technology where they don't have to feed themselves, they should have had the technology.
I mean, they have technology to rapidly age themselves,
Yeah, so it's like, what the
which
fuck
was
is
also
going?
weird to do to Doi, but whatever.
Yeah, listen, Doi, you're now a hot 7. How old is he supposed to be? Like a 20-year-old, or he's supposed to be his proper
Like,
age now?
Yeah, so he
like
was supposed to be
20-something-year-old.
20, 21-ish, maybe 23 at the max.
I don't get where this whole plot is. Like, I understand where the plot's going, but at the same time, it's like, what the fuck is going on in this show?
Yeah, because like the UW came in and is basically going to try to like execute the Japanese branch for like treason, but it's very clear now that like they were actually trying to be the good guys and the main UW branch is the bad guys.
What was the whole cult thing? Number 4. It's like, what the fuck is this cult? Like, there was no mention of really this cult thing.
I mean, it makes sense if you were paying attention.
No, I was. I'm just saying, like, before they should have like added more mention of it in earlier episodes. It was just kind of like, okay, here's this thing now.
They were building up to it. There were already the
well, there were more hints of like the terrorist organization.
Yeah,
but I wish it would have said like there's these weird cults that are popping up worshiping men or.
Well, I don't even think it's like a cult because the problem is it looks culty, but at some point it
looks like a cult, sounds like a cult, kind of is a cult.
But if the cult's the only ones that are doing like trying to do the good thing, are they really like culty?
Yes, they're still a cult.
Really?
A cult is a cult.
Yeah.
I'm looking at the definition of the cult. You explain how the your name ending was fucking dumb. Shit.
The ending was whatever. Hey, the main character, Rado, got to fucking finally meet his love interest, which I don't even remember what.
Yo, he almost banged the other chick though. He almost gave in.
Well, yeah, I mean,
I can't remember. They almost kissed. They didn't kiss though, right? It was just they were just about to kiss.
Yeah.
Religious.
So it can't be a cult.
A relatively small group of people having religious beliefs or practices regarded by others as a strange or sinister. It was strange that they're worshiping pod number 4. There was a cult.
No, you're really trying to stretch this.
A misplaced or excessive admiration of a particular person or thing. Let's fucking go. It's a cult.
No.
It's a cult.
No, it's not a cult.
It's a cult. You know it.
But like basically that group like is something. I forget the name. Like it's a weird name.
Cult.
Huh? Matt, be helpful.
I am being helpful.
No, you're just saying cult.
It was just weird because they're worshiping a fucking pod with a dude in it. Like, I understand, but it's like at the same time, it's like, Jesus.
It's not like they were specifically worshiping like that dude. They're just, trying to.
Pod number 4. Pod number 4. I mean.
Look, you are like looking at everything so like surface level.
You do the same thing for Platinum Man. Don't look at it surface level. Look deeper into yourself, Justus.
But Platinum is dog shit. I enjoyed World's End Harem more than Platinum End.
I think I did too.
Yeah, exactly. So
Platinum End and World's Platinum End. Wait, yeah, Platinum End and World's End. Both are like, oh shit, we need an ending. Put it out. That's what it felt like for this. It's like, here you go. There might be another season. There might not be another season because you find out.
I think World's End is trying to set up for season 2. Platinum End, like, that's just how it ends. That's how the manga ends.
Yeah, it's dumb.
So, like,
it's weird. Okay, what's weird to me is the whole terrorist organization. The one woman that's like, I hate men too. Fuck man. Now she's like, he's not that bad. He's here. He's here. Whatever. It's like, I'm cool with him. It's like, why the sudden shift?
Oh, the assistant Torado? It's because she loves...
No, not the assistant Torado. The other girl. black hair, purple eyes, was at the sauna, but didn't want to like do anything with him. She kind of sat off to the side, just like a fucking hate man. But she's like,
yeah, the assistant, his assistant that replaced Mira, the purple-haired one.
What? Oh, she's his new assistant now?
Yeah, that was 5 episodes ago.
Oh, I guess I just don't remember her being there. I just always think of Mira as always his assistant. I forgot that she's technically his assistant because she always just hates him. She doesn't want to interact with him at all.
Yeah, because there was the whole big thing where she was being replaced by the other chick.
Yeah. And then you learn that
it's basically because
what's her name?
That chick is like a lesbian and actually
that murdered someone else that was trying to sleep with her woman.
And is also kind of in love with Mira, which is why she's willing to, because I'm pretty sure Mira is in love with Rado. It's very like you see some flashback stuff where it looks like she was groomed to love him.
Yeah,
but
I mean there might be some brainwashing stuff there.
Yeah.
Also, Doi still very much loves his teacher. He's got like a MILF fetish.
Yeah, and for whatever reason, he's just kind of like letting Karen do whatever.
I guarantee you that teacher got pregnant, and that is why they pulled her. Even though they never said anything about it, right? She just got pulled.
Yeah.
Because I don't think Doi was ready to be like, oh, I'm going to have a kid. I guess I just love teacher. Versus, Hino, the other guy, he's boy number 1?
Yeah.
I think that's what he is. He's over there just fucking having babies.
Yeah.
None of his babies have been born yet, right?
No.
So we still have to wait to see. But there's some that are close. Also, listen, I know it's a harem show. I know there's a lot of nudity. There's way too much unnecessary nudity. Like when that one blonde hair chick, the one that saved Rado before. Okay, I need to talk to him. I'm just going to get naked. It's like,
yeah,
why?
Like the
what was the? It was
Pope,
like
whatever.
There was like 3 times she did that. I'm like, that's unnecessary. Just leave your fucking clothes on. Like,
it's not like she was wearing a whole lot of clothes anyway.
I mean, at least she was wearing a bit. Listen, I talked about this before. Proportions are stupid dumb. Like, I need a belt because I don't have a bra, and my jacket sits like here because my boobs are out to here. It's like, settle down.
Yeah, but if you saw a woman wearing that, you'd be excited as shit.
Not with like bazongas like this, but like shit, she's gonna make a quick turn. I'm gonna get fucking Chris rocked.
The show's fine. It's whatever. Like, if they do another season, I don't know if I'll watch it.
No, maybe I'll watch it just to say I finished it. Maybe I'll just read the manga to be like, cool. DJ read the manga. Which is still I'm not gonna watch it. I'm like, but you read the whole manga. You bought the whole manga. Why would you buy it and not watch it on there? Like, you bought it enough to
he does that weird thing where he's like, I'm already caught up, like or past it.
But like,
why
it being
would I
animated
watch it?
is like way different than, you know what I mean? Like, imagine if you just read Bleach and you never watched it. Like, there's so much more in Bleach. Granted, there's some filler in there, but I mean,
he's secretly a manga purist, and it's like privilege is shit.
Oh, by the way, before we continue to
DJ, your privilege is showing. He's not gonna
love you, Brad.
But
no, I did stumble across another show the other day when watching my regular shows. Melancholy of Haruhi Suzumiya is dubbed on Crunchyroll.
Yeah.
And I forgot how much I fucking love that show. We should rewatch that show.
I have it on Blu-ray.
I do too. I have the original box sets when they came out, like volume by volume on there, and I was like, oh, it's just such a good like early or mid 2000s show because I think it came out like 2006. But I mean,
I've never watched it on Blu-ray. Never watched it.
Oh really?
Yeah.
It's the updated animation on Crunchyroll. It's like the 720p because originally it was like 480.
I mean, I bought the Blu-ray like a year and a half ago, so it'd be updated as well.
Yeah, we should watch it. But you think the people in World's End would get a cue to stop?
Yeah. Here's your cue to stop. Bing.
Without looking, could you name 6 of the girls? Could you name 2 of the girls without looking?
Haru and Tsubaki. No, Tsubaki's her character. That's part of the problem. They're also voice actors
within an anime.
Yeah, they're also like voice actors, and like, not only are they voice actors, but of the 3 episodes, they've been kind of like revolving around the idol group, the podcast group.
No, it
will
sounds
get,
like it's been
an
revolving
episode.
around an overprotective bodyguard with a fucking Apache
No,
attack helicopter.
He hasn't been in there since.
He fucking shows up with helicopter, drops off his like protectee, leaves like a Chad.
Yeah,
cute Chad.
but,
music. Doo-doo.
like we haven't had anything like that. But
That was so fucking weird.
of the 3 episodes, like prior to this, they've kind of been rotating out each group that you focus. This time around, though, 2 of the 3 episodes were on the group that were like doing the voice acting for the anime, which was super interesting. So we had anime idol group, anime focused episodes.
Does the idol group do anime stuff too? I can't remember. Or they just do their idol
They're
stuff?
just doing the idol stuff right now.
Didn't they start as part of the anime group?
Well, they're in all of their goal, all 16, 17 girls' entire goal is to be voice actresses. But because some of them haven't been cast, it's like, we'll still get your name out here. Are you guys are interested in doing some podcast stuff? So here's how you 4 can brand your, create a brand around yourselves and build experience using your voice. Here on the another group, here's the like idol focused where you can show your singing skills. And I mean, you've seen a bunch of times.
All of them look so generic, like just looking at them.
There's 16 of them, and it's also based off of a game. So, like,
which is also the weirdest thing about this show to me. It's like, what is it ranked on my anime list? Not that the ranking matters so much. 6.4. It's an anime based off a game, which is based around anime girls being in an anime. So it's an anime within an anime within a game about an anime.
But it was kind of nice getting more anime focused episodes. She voices Akabi, by the way.
I thought this was her first. Sorry, I was looking at the characters. I was like, that voice actress looks very familiar. And
a lot of them have only done like 1 or 2 kind of things. Like,
yeah, because the girl that plays Yuzaha, is that the one that got dropped off by the helicopter?
Yeah.
Literally had a supporting role last season in Odd Taxi, and now is playing 2 main characters. To be fair, Q is like there's 16 main characters, but she's also playing Akibi from Akibi Sailor Uniform, which is a pretty big role for only doing 1 thing.
Yeah. And then has something set up next as well. I didn't see what that was, but it seemed like next
It's
season.
the Odd Taxi movie.
Oh, yeah.
Because they're doing Odd Taxi movie, and then there's going to be another season.
Mm.
That's a show I feel like Giga definitely did like a huge favor for. Sorry, not to get too off topic, but it's like never knew about Odd Taxi. Giga recommended Odd Taxi. So then it became like best. It won some Crunchyroll award. I can't remember what it is. I think it was like an ending theme or something like that.
I think it got Anime of the Year, didn't it?
No, I think Jujutsu Kaisen did. Because Jujutsu Kaisen against it. So, which sucks. Sorry, you were saying. So I think too, we have the idol groups.
Yeah. So the first episode focused around the actual voice acting group. The 4 girls that ended up getting in there. One of them ended up getting the lead. Makia, the one at the very bottom left. Yes. She ended up getting one of the lead characters. For a newbie, it's kind of big, especially in her case. The other 2 core characters are supposed to be in this show recognizable voice actor and actress. So it's kind of nerve-wracking, and you have an episode that's a bit more focused on by the way, that show it's like shit Overlord apparently.
Yeah, but to be fair, Overlord is shit Overlord. Season 4 coming out. Sorry, continue with your story. I'm just looking at the voice actresses on there. I just want to see what they're up to.
Her nerves got the better of her. Like, eventually it kind of reached a point where she was happening to repeat lines like over. There was like episode 11. She had to repeat a specific line over like 3 or 4 times, which was done by herself. And then on episode 12, or no, that was episode 9. Sorry, no, episode 10. It's super confusing because you're talking about like in the anime, the ones that they're dubbing is episode 10. And also it was like episode 10.
Oh.
It's super confusing because you have to like try to follow along with some of that stuff. She was struggling, and then they were doing episode 11 the week after of the recording, and she just like couldn't nail the emotion that was meant for the line. And it was like, all right, everyone else is good. We'll have to do cut 237 again. Please stay. And that's when she's like, stay. And it's like, oh, you fucked that line up. Like, time to work late. And now you've also roped these other 2 individuals in because you couldn't do something correct. So she was like super in her head about all of that.
Maybe she should just be better.
I mean, if you're new at something like
Be better.
that, yeah, whatever.
Be better.
Huh? Well, just like be happy, Matt. Just be happy.
I am happy.
That is the most.
That's
That's the most cap shit I ever heard.
she.
God, but
You're the one that said capped.
yeah. Well, you didn't have to do the sheesh. So there's a lot of like kind of bro characters in the show.
Wait, the girls are kind of bro characters, or they're like actual bro kind of characters? Like,
a couple of like actual bro characters. One of them is
bro.
the audio engineer that is like, all right, please do start at the top of scene or whatever. That guy, every so often, he'll come in and be like, Makia was like way in her head about things. She was like sitting there by herself, and even after staying late, and they've already done like 2 failed takes, and he's like, all right, we're gonna take like a 10-minute break, reconvene, we'll like try again. And Maki is sitting in the recording booth by herself, large room,
Crying.
very upset because no, she's not crying, thankfully. Not yet.
Not yet.
And
so I'm just getting
he's
bullied.
like, yeah. The other 3 are staying late, and so is their manager, because this is not normal. And the guy sees that she's like in there by herself and goes and sees the friend there, and he's like, I'm gonna go scold her. And they're like, what? And the manager's like, what? And he goes in, closes the door behind so they can't enter, and he like sits down next to her, and he's just like such a chill bro, where he's like, he doesn't scold her at all. He's literally just like, all right, so Matt brought it up on screen. It's a large room. Like, there's lots of people.
I thought it'd be, because everything I've seen, well, it depends on the shoot. Some of like the more American stuff is like, here's a booth, here's audio, go with it. I know I've seen some Japanese ones where they stand. Usually the room isn't like this, where there's
this is standard in Japan. This is why Japanese voice acting is always way better. In America, we do individual booths. In Japan, they work together.
Well, I know they work together, but I've never seen the one where there's like just a couch there.
Yeah, so if you watch C-Dog's VA video, it shows a little bit about it. But stop clicking through and like
it's just one. I mean, I know what it looks like on there,
but so
no one runs like.
Depending on the cut, right when things happen, the individuals who have finished their lines will literally step back, and then the other group will step up, and like there's no pausing. You're just moving very like fluidly through everything. So, is this just like a 2-minute clip or some shit?
No, this is this is from Crunchyroll.
Oh.
It looks like a 2-minute clip.
But, yeah, that guy was such a bro. He's like, you know, I get that things are, you know, getting to you. Like, what is it that you're missing? That kind of thing. And she eventually realizes that, like, there's no need to be, like, overly nervous and stuff like that. She, you know, has all of her friends around her and, you know, friendship, that kind of thing. And eventually nails the line, and everyone's, like, super happy. Even the professional people are, like, super chill about it because they've totally been through this shit before. But the new person is, like, way in her head about it. Then we get to the idol group, and that chick, one of the chicks is like, oh, we're gonna be performing in my, like, hometown. I don't want to do this, and, like, has a mental break because, like, she doesn't really get to see her sister that often and stuff like that as well. That episode was fine. It was more like friendship stuff. The final episode was kind of dope though, because it was the final recording episode of Bloom Ball, the anime inside an anime thing, and they finally get done through the episode. You know Haruna, the one that was like, congratulations, you were cast as, like, student A. You know, the kind of background character, like, Phil voices. She ended up, in the first episode, the character that she had initially, like, voiced, she put kind of enough emphasis on things that
I'm just clicking to this.
Yeah, so it's distracting. Had done enough emphasis on it that the mangaka that was sitting there, where it's like, no, that's it. And the character actually has a name and is a speaking character, and they've, like, announced that there's going to be, like, the spin-off that focuses on that kind of aspect. So both Haruna now officially has a character named speaking role, and Makia will, like, have a second project to do. And yeah, it was, like, super cool. Haruna, like, ends up crying because she realizes that, like,
she sucks.
Huh?
That she sucks?
No, that she's, like, doing a good job, and, like, she's reaching her goals, and the mangaka actually, like, at the very end that
I don't have it up anymore. It's
the studio, when they finished wrapping, the mangaka had given them, you know, those square, like, placards as, like, thank yous.
Yeah.
She drew all the characters with, like, their name and gave them to each person who voiced them. And Haruna ended up getting the one that, like, she voiced but didn't officially have a name until, like, the final episode, where everyone's like, who's this? Who? And then they, like, finally realize. And the manga,
hey, girl, see?
Yeah. Well, the mangaka was like, no, thank you, because you did such, like, a great job that, like, I had just never really bothered to, like, flesh out that character, but it always kind of, like, bugged me, and your voice gave that character the thing that it needed. And then that was, like, the, oh, thank you very much, kind of, like, cry stuff, where it's like, it's cool. But yeah, it was a good episode. And then they, like, celebrated, and then you get to watch the, like, because as you were skipping through, you saw all the black and white really rough
I was just
cuts.
trying to find
yeah.
that DJ dude or whatever his name was.
So you're watching the black and white, like, rough cuts. At the very end of episode 12, you get to see the finished product of episode 1, where there's literally actually a couple minutes near the end of the episode of the finished anime project within the anime, where it's like, yo, they're all super happy, where it's like, they're colored, everything looks so pretty. Like, look at how fluid it is. So that was kind of cool too. Just one of those moments where it's like, yeah. All right, I'm gonna stop
Things you
talking
can't.
about
I was about to warn you. I was like, we're going a bit long on that there.
That's your fault.
Why was it my fault? I didn't pull it up till like the 42-minute mark.
Yeah, whatever. You're
It's
like
40.
skipping through stuff. All right.
I was just trying to find the cool dude on there. I mean, who's this cool Shutha from?
Which cool dude? I don't know.
We're talking about the fucking track dude that was cool, and he's like, "Hey, let's take a 10-minute break." Blah blah blah.
Oh yeah,
I was just trying to find out what
episode 10.
Oh, I didn't know what episode it was. I didn't know you were talking about the last episode. Like, oh, and the last episode. I was like, oh shit, that's the last episode too.
No, well, it's also not the last episode. Q is 24 episodes.
Well, it's
Tokyo 24th War. Let's talk about that.
Yeah, sucks. That's about it. Literally nothing happens besides you find out that what's his name?
So things are delayed again for Tokyo 24th War.
So we only have 2 episodes. Technically, there's 3 episodes, 9.5. Which my god, that show got fucking. You can't do a summarization episode. Be like, hey, watch this. Like, who gives a fuck? Like, no.
We went to an entire flashback episode, and then a recap episode, and then we went to the story ahead.
Companies that put extra stuff into the flashback episode kind of pass, but you can't just do a flashback episode, especially when it's only been 9 episodes. Like, if you can't remember what happened in the last 9 weeks, plus in every episode there's a flashback, like even in the episode 9 there's a flashback. It's like, hey, shoot, I remember this when we saw you at the bar, blah blah blah. It's like whatever. And you find out that Suagawa, the T was throwing me off. Suagawa. Okay, let's explain. We get this flashback. We find out what happens in the past, right? We find out that Suagawa is... It's so dumb because they just know her. They really don't establish how they know her on there. Basically, Asumi's mom came out with the first self-driving car with a shitload of cameras on it, which kind of makes sense. It was kind of cool. It's like, hey, I wrote this software that drives its own car. And then you meet, what's his name? He's not on this.
Zeroth is his
name. Yeah, Zeroth is his new name. He had a different name. Dude, he dressed like a cowboy. Like a stereotypical, you're thinking Western cowboy. Plus his glasses kind of pissed me off because it's just there's that circle in the middle. You know what I mean? Like, how the fuck does that hold anything? That must be so uncomfortable. It's like cowboys circles and shit, right? Just throw that on his glasses. So then he and Asumi's mom are in a car. She has a self-driving car that already has a protocol for sacrifice, who's the lead, who can be sacrificed, and it picks
Kane
him.
The mom's name is Kane.
Yeah. She's not on this sheet here.
Yeah, if scroll up just slightly. More characters. Corner.
Oh, well, this is going to give me a whole... I don't want this. I want this here. So I can actually see... These are important. Whatever. Kane, whatever her name is. Asumi's mom. That's what I'm just going to say. So Asumi's mom...
Because that's what the system's named after. The Kane system.
Oh, okay. So Kane developed the whole software for the self-driving car. Car crashes into a pole because it almost runs over to Gawa. I'm not even going to worry about names at this point. It almost runs over her on there. But the car decides, no, Zeroth is the one, the sacrifice. He's, the one that can be sacrificed. They do a head-on collision because another car was trying to go around traffic on a single-lane road, which, happens. It's not like it doesn't happen.
I mean, it was 2-lane, but, traffic was blocked, and then the guy was trying to go around some shit like that because there were, 2 cars,
I think it was 2 cars at the front, but when they were driving later, there's just single. It just could have been budget saving. Whatever. Besides the point there. Car almost hits him. Car swerves onto, the sidewalk, hits a pole on there. And then, Suagawa is oh, Kane, no. It's wait, first of all, how does she know them? I mean, obviously knowing, the first ever self-driving car, you'd probably know the person, but it's they never really established, how they really knew each other beforehand. Then it leads into this... Yeah, it sounds like it's thundering outside.
I didn't realize we were getting thunderstorms. Huh?
But besides that, okay. But there's that whole background story, and they don't establish any more relationship. Then they do this tiny time skip, and it's yep, Kane is now a school teacher after that whole thing. She feels bad about Zeroth because Zeroth can't read or write really anymore. He can only like draw because the kanji's messed up in his head. He had a big concussion, whatever. So then he goes to draw in like America or some shit. Kane becomes a school teacher to teach like, I want to weep what you sow. It's my turn to sow. It's your turn to like weep or whatever. And it's like, okay, so Kane left the company to become a school teacher, leaving Suagawa by herself to meet the Sarg guy that you've met before with the scar on his nose. And he just wants to be a hero is like his whole plot point. But there's no one else in the office. So this whole time she was just working by herself at the end of it. Because before the office was filled with people.
Mm-hmm.
And you find out that Asumi's dad and Green's dad marries, obviously, the mother, Kane. And that sponsors the whole Kane system because he never wants anything bad to happen again is his whole thing. And then I feel kind of bad for the dude because, mom gets stabbed when they're handing out free food because some crack whore was like, give me your money in your purse. Let's talk this out. It's like, nah, bitch, you should just give him the purse. Sarg guy comes up. He gets cut in the nose, and then the lady gets stabbed immediately, and then it's like, oh, she's bleeding. I'll put her on my motorcycle. It's like, oh okay. She died due to blood loss and shock. It's like, you didn't just start a transfusion right away. I'm no doctor, but typically pretty big blood wound. She was stabbed with a big old knife, too. That was like fucking huge. That's basically what happened in one episode, not to go play by play, but it establishes that the reason why Green and Asumi's dad has kind of gone crazy in putting Asumi in the Kane system is because Kane couldn't figure out a way to make an artificial brain because she figured out a way to make it with a human brain, but she was like, that's unethical. True. We've done way more unethical things. But then it's like, whatever. But the dad kept the prints for it, whatever.
Yeah.
But then, like, when the mom died, as she was dying, she's like, take care of my kids. That's why Suagawa is still checking in on him. Mm-hmm. It's a weird thing.
Yeah. And then she feels guilty when the governor, mayor, Goru.
It's weird because he's like, he was a governor, Goru. Now he's the mayor, and 24th Ward.
And he's like, you were helping her like do the research there near the end, like you still have all the stuff, and it's also evident why Zeroth is like so aware of everything because he also designed the system like in the early stages. So he knows
everything about it, which he knows all the at least they're tying the plot points together. But there's still like some of those open plot points, like how did Suagawa and like Kane know each other? Where the fuck did this cowboy come from? Like, what is the whole thing behind this? Like, it would have been nice. I would have liked less of the whole bullshit. Like, okay, there's a chance this crane's gonna fall and blah blah blah. It's like you could have made that like one episode thing and then given us some more background in these episodes.
Yeah, I'm less worried about that and more just like annoyed that, and I was kind of talking about the fact that it just felt like so many of these characters are like so interconnected that like it's almost stupid, where the governor actually was the one like helping sponsor because they were originally building everything out of the university, which is how Suagawa kind of met, and then
but they met her when she was a kid. So was she a kid?
She was already a teenager at that point.
Yeah, but I mean, it's still like would have been nice to have one episode of like this is how they met ish because they knew it during the crash and all that stuff. It's like
well, there with between the like the Zeroth stuff, his whole like
character arc thing is real weird.
Apparently this car accident gave me like severe dyslexia. Everything, all the symbols float. I can't read shit.
Percy Jackson?
Yeah. It's weird, but eventually it's like, even the side characters where it's like, all right, Suagawa like basically tried to save Kane's life after the system saved her life, and that's why she was willing to work with stuff, but also realizing that Zeroth like is correct to a certain point where there are a level of unethical stuff, and the system can never be perfect anyways. And the one dude that she meets in school, the Sard guy, where it's like, oh, he created the hero thing that Shuta is like absolutely like his whole character is based off of. Where it's like everything is too convenient.
Well, I don't think it's too convenient. I think they're trying to do the interconnection, but they're not doing a lot of the groundwork. It
still feels too convenient. Like, if you think that 6 characters are so influential,
man, you would hate Full Metal Alchemist then.
No, because at least Full Metal Alchemist does like a decent enough job of like there's
Full Metal had better groundwork. The problem is the show's not giving enough groundwork.
Way more
That's
characters
way
that
too convenient.
eventually like influence other characters. That there's a flow through those characters that you can kind of see. Here, it's 6 characters that have so drastically influenced an entire like generation of lives.
Well, I think the problem is it's 2 episodes of quick stuff to finish the connecting. They should have done a better job at the beginning of the series, especially when you're starting out with a 45-minute episode. Like, that episode didn't need to be 45 minutes of what it was. Make it 30 minutes of what it was, and then 12 minutes of groundwork.
Mm-hmm.
I think if they laid better groundwork, it would have felt better. Also, the 2 cops just keep randomly showing up out of nowhere. It's just like an unnecessary character plot point at this point. Like, the whole thing of, what's the kid's name?
The pink-haired
It
girl?
was
or the little girl.
No, it was the little girl that her dad died in the storm. You look up her name, but when she shows up, she's like, I'm going to join Do Red. And then, Shuta gets hit in the back of the head. It's like...
Kozu?
Yeah, it's like, what was the point of this scene? It didn't really add anything to it. They could have saved that time for something else and have it later on. Like,
also, Kineko gets harassed by like the Sarg guys. That
she's about to get
undercovered, pretending
they have like a
to
knife. They had a knife right next to like her private lady area. Luckily, Shuta comes out, kicks their ass, and Tal falls off. It's like,
that boy is too ripped. By the way, like it feels like he's gotten way more ripped as the episodes have progressed.
He's always been ripped since the beginning. I mean. He does a lot of sports.
Yeah, but especially like, there
was there Japanese? They eat healthier than us.
Yeah, but at some point,
have you seen his dad?
There was just that level of like, that's the thing though, because that's why I was like, I'm pretty sure he's gotten like way more ripped because like everything is way more defined. Where someone was like, highlight all of it. Like,
I mean, his dad's pretty much a bodybuilder chef. Which is really weird in and of itself on there.
That mom absolutely loves it. She gets folded like a pretzel in the middle of the night.
Hang on a second. His dad is basically black, right? He's a chef, right? He went on a trip to America, right?
No, he was in France.
France, whatever. Jujutsu Kaisen?
No.
That's his cover story. He's a Kaisen sorcerer, Jujutsu sorcerer. I'm going with that.
No.
Yep, that's what I'm going with, man. The trip to France was a lie. He was over there like cracking whips against Gojo. I don't know.
You even see his sorcery powers.
See? You get it. He's got them skills. I just say skills. Oh, all in all, the show. It's weird. There's scenes they could have taken out, like, this was an original, right? Or is this based off of... I don't think it's based off anything.
It's an original.
Yeah. There's... I'm not hating on the director. I don't want to blame the director off the bat. But there's definitely better ways. Oh, come on. He could have done better. He's done stuff like JoJo and... Get wrecked. That's just the ending. Wow, this dude's done a lot of JoJo. I was just seeing what else he was doing to see if there's anything even better that you could like see that. All in all, the show I think is very much a C tier show. Like,
yeah,
I think the 6.62 is a little high, but it just depends because we have one more episode left.
Yeah.
Oh, we forgot to mention that the Red guy, so Red, meets back up with the dude that killed his friend, that let his friend to die. He punches him in the face once, and you even said, like, oh, join us and we can fix everything. And he's like, okay. That's pretty much his reaction. Rather than be more pissed off, he's like, okay, I'll do what you want. It's like, why? Is there really only one more episode left?
Yeah.
Well, it says episode 2.
2 episodes left.
Oh, I keep getting. Maybe they'll skip another week. Listen, as much shit that we gave 86, definitely not as bad as like Tokyo 24th Ward is doing right now.
Yeah. All right. We should probably end it here. I rambled on a lot about Q. Q's very good, by the way. Like,
yeah.
Far more underrated than I think most people.
I don't think underrated. I think underwatched.
I would say the same thing. Just because people passed up, just adds.
I think the thing is, like, when you see Q, like, that's the thing with a lot of the shows this season. You see shows, like, we even skipped Ranking of a King because we're like, I don't know. I watched the first episode, I was like, it's all right. But then it's like, you don't know till you're like 3 or 4 episodes in. But a 3-episode try holds up pretty well, too. I feel like some of the shows. But at least we're sticking with more of the shows. Like, we stuck with Platinum End, and man, that was a fucking mistake. At least we can say, like, hey, the show sucks like Platinum Ends. There was some anime news here. I pulled up my phone because I can't get Discord to pop up on there. I posted something on there. Oh, no, it was Crunchyroll's discontinuing the free portion of their app. Did you see that?
No.
Let me click on here.
It makes sense.
I mean, at the same time, I love the #1 meme when they posted that was, all right, boys. And it was the opening to One Piece for pirates. It's like, no, this is what I was going to post. So the Gawako-chan author, you'd recognize the artwork.
Okay.
Sentenced to 1 year and 2 months in prison for possessing child pornography.
Yeah.
Oh, that's not a good look. I guess your stuff's never going to be published again, no matter how good it is.
Probably.
Poison and Pod, best show this season, hands down.
Q. Bite me. Thanks for watching.
I will. Bad babies. Bye.